On this edition of Bay Area Bountiful, we explore environmental stewardship through the work of Bay Area students. First, we'll tag along with Literacy for Environmental Justice, a group cleaning up neighborhoods and building rain gardens in an eco-apprenticeship program. We'll meet the Green Ambassadors, a corps of volunteers focused on sustainability. And then students from Santa Clara University help communities around the world launch sustainable enterprises. It's all coming up next on Bay Area Bountiful.
Bay Area Bountiful is made possible in part by Rocky the free-range chicken and Rosie the original organic chicken. The Sonoma County Agricultural Preservation and Open Space District, Made Local Magazine, and Sonoma County Go Local. Support also provided by Pepperwood Preserve and through the generous support of the Sonoma County Water Agency. Cultivate, celebrate, connect.
Youth leaders in the San Francisco neighborhoods of Bayview, Hunters Point, and Candlestick are raising awareness of sustainability issues through a unique work-study apprenticeship program called Literacy for Environmental Justice.
I just want people to realize how beautiful our southeast area of SF really is. Like, you might think, oh, the nicer areas are always on the west side near the beach. But honestly, a lot of the southeast is pretty beautiful. We just gotta learn how to take care of it.
Growing up, my neighborhood was nice. There was flowers everywhere. But as I got older, flowers seemed to be dying. The structures around my neighborhood seemed to be getting worse. I wanted to improve my neighborhood and make it the way I remembered.
We're bringing the youth to be stepping up as leaders in their community so that way they can be future leaders in their neighborhood and prevent further environmental injustices from happening.
I'm Alex Velasco. I'm 17 years old. I used to live in Bayview for a very long time, but I'm currently in the Mission neighborhood, and I'm a senior at Burden High School in San Francisco, California.
My name is Selena Fung. I am 17 years old. I live in the Bayview neighborhood and I go to Philip and Sala Burden High School.
My name is Laura Hernandez. I am 21 years old. I currently live in Ingleside, San Francisco. I am studying Recreation, Parks, and Tourism at San Francisco State University.
There's this lady at my school that does like job internships, and I was like, hey, I need a job. And she was like, sure, which area do you live in? And then at the time I was living in the Bayview. She's like, oh, that's perfect. There's a apprenticeship that's literally right around your area. A lot of the questions on the application was like, oh, have you ever realized how dirty your neighborhood is? And I was like, wow, that's a big eye-opener, and that's very interesting. I did not have any idea that asthma rates in areas such as the Bayview are higher because of all the industrial work around there. So I applied, got accepted. Eco-apprentice is basically learning more about our community and our environment around us.
Literacy for Environmental Justice is a community-based nonprofit organization that focuses in youth development and environmental education. We are place-based and conceived right here in Southeast San Francisco from youth in the neighborhood that are looking to address some of the environmental issues going on, particularly Bayview, Hunters Point, and Candlestick communities.
Today we're running a nursery volunteer program where we invite members of the community and anyone who wants to come in and help us grow our plants. And these are plants that are going to be planted in the neighborhood here. They're going to provide habitat for local wildlife. They are going to address the inequity of a lack of access to open space for poor people and people of color who predominate this neighborhood.
Today we're going to be weeding the demo garden. Specifically, we're going to be removing oxalis. And in this area, we have a lot of native plants that we use to, for example, what the plants that we grow in our nursery will look like in the natural habitat.
So by volunteering here in the nursery today and helping us grow these plants that are going to enhance local open space, we are addressing that inequity. We're providing quality open space where it didn't exist before.
Our high school eco-apprentice group is learning about flooding, and we're learning how rain gardens can help prevent flooding in a neighborhood that's very prone to it. Climate change is a real thing. It's coming, and San Francisco is a hotspot because of rising sea levels.
The risk of living in a neighborhood like this, which is prone to flooding, is that streets can always be filled with water, and the water can eventually get into the houses and start destroying some property. But with a rain garden, it will soak up most of the water.
Today we are at Northridge Cooperative Housing, and we're helping design their new rain garden.
Literacy for Environmental Justice was invited to come out here with our young adult eco-apprentice, which is anyone between the ages of 14 and 18.
We are here to learn about how to construct a rain garden and where exactly to put it. Now we're going to figure out the slope of our future rain garden area by hammering 2 stakes down and measuring the rise over run of the 2 distances. A rain garden is a 1-foot hole dug into the ground. There's rocks, compost, and topsoil over it, and there's also plants that are really good for absorbing water, but they're also really good when there's drought. When there's a slope, water will flow down the slope and into the rain garden, so there wouldn't be as much flooding.
This is one of the 2 stakes that we're going to put down. The other one's going to be a bit lower, so we could use that to calculate the slope.
They're really easy to make. You just gotta find the materials and know how to make it. And so I think by us going out into the community and building these rain gardens, more people will find inspiration to build one themselves.
It's important to find our slope because if it's below 4%, then it's not going to be steep enough. But if it's over 12%, then it's just going to be way too steep.
So 6% will be steep enough to let water in, but it won't be too steep that the rain garden will overflow.
I just hope that people in the community understand the importance of having a clean community and an eco-friendly community. There's lots of studies that show that a greener community, there's happier people. So I just hope people are more happy in their communities after all of this is done. You might look at it in a couple years and be like, wow, look at that beautiful garden. I helped plant that.
I see myself changing the world by educating others about things that I have learned. Just starting projects that can benefit other communities.
I didn't want to work in a job where I felt like I didn't have a purpose, where I didn't feel like I was doing something good for other people. I'm not just doing something for me, I'm doing something for everybody.
Literacy for environmental justice has changed my life because now I feel more a part of my community. Teaching people what I've learned and help translate that information, spreading knowledge about my neighborhood helps me feel like I'm changing the world.
Literacy for environmental justice sets the example of how humans are not inherently destructive. It is a choice that we make to pave and pollute. We can also make the choice to plant and to pollinate. We can choose to have a relationship with the land that is reciprocal, where we're giving and we're taking from the land and the land is giving to us. We need to establish harmonious relationships with the land, with ourselves, and with each other.
I would tell young people that it's not what you're going to accomplish right now, it's what you're going to see grow in a couple years. So don't rush things, don't feel like, oh, I'm not doing anything. You'll see it grow, and before you know it, you'll be helping a lot more than you really believe you are.
Many students around California are worried about climate change and sustainability. One way students can address these issues directly is to join a student-led program that implements collective action, programs like the Green Ambassadors.
we declare you graduated as Green Ambassadors.
The thing about the Green Ambassadors, which is so powerful to me and I love it, is because we get to do the solutions. It's not the teacher doing it, it's actually youth empowering youth because we're in charge of it.
In our Green Ambassadors class, we work on projects that can help our school first, and then we can go out in the community to teach others about it. And of course, that all goes back to our ecological footprint and climate change.
Here in the United States, we're trying to change it, and many countries don't see that. They just think that we're bad, we're the big monster that wants to destroy the planet. Most of our energy comes from fossil fuels, like oil, natural gas, and coal. Once you burn them, they emit CO2. And the greenhouse gases are like laying a blanket on our planet, and it's heating it up.
Our school is going through a green transformation.
Our school, we had a lunch system that would create so much waste. So last semester, we worked on a project called Clean Plate Club.
These are our waste stations. We have compost, fruits, vegetables, eggshells. We have recycle, so plastic bottles only numbers 1 and 2. And we have landfill. And we want to raise awareness, and we also want people to see what can go in the landfill. Right here is our #1 method of compost. We're using an old bathtub to put our organic matter from the waste bins. Worms are breaking it down to compost. We're gonna get good, healthy soil for our plants, our fruit trees. We planted 60 different fruit trees with over 30 varieties. Trees get the carbon dioxide out of the air, so planting more trees can reduce your carbon footprint. The coolest thing for me was that we actually got to plant the trees, so we can go back 20 years later and say, hey, I planted that avocado tree, I planted that kiwi tree. And we also went into the community, door to door, asking people, do you want a kiwi tree, do you want an avocado tree? We planted 40 different trees in the community. That's the most important thing, to educate people, because they don't know. I don't like when we judge other people instead of teaching them.
One way that our school has taken our learnings and teachings out to the rest of the community, to the rest of the city. We teach little kids about what they can do and take back to their homes, to their schools, to make their school environmentally friendly. They're trying to reduce the plastic by getting the canteens, and so that they don't have to be buying plastic bottles.
We're at the Environmental Youth Conference, and I'm dressed as a plastic bag monster. Everyone is walking up to me, taking pictures and laughing. But this is a serious problem. Climate change is hitting us. I mean, we need solar panels, we need wind energy. We don't need to be going offshore drilling for oil. There are the solutions, but we need to use them. You'd really be surprised what one Earth Positive solution can do to a community. We're doing all of this for the 7th generation. It's for my sister's kids and her kids' kids' kids.
We can do the simplest things to make this world a better place.
I can learn how to care about the earth. You can too.
You can make a difference.
Santa Clara University students working through an innovative Miller Center program are helping communities and entrepreneurs around the world launch sustainable businesses that empower people and protect the environment. Each summer, Bay Area college students travel around the world to help start-up businesses working to further sustainability and social good.
It's not just a vacation. It's not just, you're not a tourist. You are going to help a business who's helping people.
We all want everyone to have clean water. We all want everyone to have clean energy.
One of the biggest challenges was the cultural and language barrier.
We show up and we hit the ground running. There are challenges. There are rough days you're having in the field where kind of nothing is going your way and the ride was delayed an hour and it's hot and you're tired and the mosquitoes are biting you.
This is not the rush hour they're used to. Right away, students see that business is happening at the grassroots everywhere, no matter how remote the location. These Santa Clara University students are fellows of the Global Social Benefit Fellowship, whose mission is to assist social entrepreneurs.
The students have these great opportunities to work on sustainable development goals worldwide. Social entrepreneurship draws on the power of business and entrepreneurship to be able to address the needs, especially of people who are poor and of environmental degradation.
Social enterprises are across all aspects of the world's issues, but a lot of them are on women's empowerment and on combating climate change.
The social enterprises are everywhere. East Africa, South Africa, West Africa, the Indian subcontinent, including India itself and Nepal.
I worked with an enterprise called Empower Generation in Nepal, and Empower Generation recruits women in various communities in rural Nepal and helps provide business skills and technical training, as well as support for these women to have their own independent enterprises selling solar energy products.
It's one thing to read about it and then another thing to actually be in Nepal and meet these people and like understand the culture in a different context. How students come into that picture is that we help them with whatever they need. They needed videos, and so I learned how to be a filmmaker.
Our plan was to do a kind of hybrid monitoring and evaluation report and try and quantify how these women's lives have improved since becoming entrepreneurs, or how the lives of customers have been improved since owning a solar light product or a solar energy product.
Many people in Nepal don't have access to clean energy, so that means that they're dependent on kerosene. And I remember a boy I interviewed who talked about studying with a kerosene lamp and how bugs would be attracted to his face, and it was just so difficult for him to study, or the fact that it was hard to breathe after 2 hours of studying with the kerosene lamp. And then he decided to make an investment in the solar light, and it changed his world, and he was able to study for longer hours. So it was really incredible to hear a story like that of a student like me who had this product that we were working with change his life.
I was really happy that Empower Generation really liked the work we did.
It's not often that you get to hear from the founder of an organization like that they're proud of your work.
They were really happy with the reports we produced and the videos we produced.
The Students' Fellowship is based at Santa Clara University's Miller Center for Social Entrepreneurship.
What Miller Center does is connect entrepreneurs serving the global poor to campus, and campus to those social entrepreneurs in the developing world. The Global Social Benefit Institute Accelerator programs at this point have accompanied social enterprises in 65 countries around the world.
Before students are assigned to enterprises, the Global Social Benefit Institute, GSBI, helps social entrepreneurs grow their business by providing mentors to guide them on key business strategies.
A GSBI mentor who's been a successful Silicon Valley executive, she might not necessarily understand what's going to work in Nicaragua or Nepal or Nigeria, but she does understand how you take ideas and get them to scale, and she can help the social entrepreneur discover what's best for his or her own form of impact and how to scale that.
After sharing business know-how online for months, mentors meet with the visiting social entrepreneurs in both formal and informal settings on campus. Newly arrived in the entrepreneurship capital of the world, taking advice from high-tech execs can involve some culture shock.
So I just want to, first of all, welcome everybody. One of the things mentors try to do is we try to learn as much about your culture as we can. But we have a culture here too. Silicon Valley has a very unique culture. We are very direct. In many of your cultures, we would be considered rude. Get used to it. We're trying to get the most accomplished in the shortest period of time. I'm trying to help.
When fall quarter classes start up again, Ash and Clarissa are back from Nepal.
Oh my gosh, how are you?
They return to greet a brand new class of GSB Fellows who are just starting the coursework to prepare for their own travels.
The fellows who have completed their fellowship the prior year greeting the new fellows, welcoming them, and sharing some advice.
Where's your placement?
I'm going to Rwanda.
Rwanda?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Is that to teach a man to fish, or no? That's
how to navigate working in the developing world, how to study different things and think about the world differently.
We would spend like 2 weeks going out and driving out into the fields and village, so it was like...
So that connection, we think, is a really vital part of building this community of leaders who are fashioning a more just, humane, and sustainable world.
Get ready! Yeah, get ready. That's all you can say. Never been to Africa?
No. It's a really unique group of 18 students who want to make that difference. So we go through 2 quarters of rigorous academic research. So the first quarter, we learn all about social entrepreneurship, different ways of combating poverty, understanding poverty very holistically.
I'm going to go over an ethics worksheet with you and go over that assignment. We dream big in Silicon Valley, in the heart of the world's most entrepreneurial ecosystem. We have resources to project an image of how we can create a more inclusive society in which everyone is able to meet their needs, in which the dignity of all human beings is respected and enhanced.
How are you going to adapt when you find out that you can't go to the village that you plan to go to, or that the hotel that you were planning to stay at is actually no longer in business? Whatever it is, you're going to have to adapt. Miller Center really derives its strategic focus from 2 extraordinary documents which articulate what needs to be done globally to end poverty and protect the planet. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and Pope Francis's encyclical Laudato Si on climate change and its effects on the poor. We think about preparing these students to address some of the problems that are already happening from climate change, including an increased number of refugees and migrants escaping dire poverty or seeking better lives as a result of climate change. You're also going to be thinking about how your host social enterprises are adapting their own business model. We select the student teams based on the needs of the social enterprise. The matching is really done based on, first, what does the social enterprise need? Then what can these teams of students bring in to that particular project?
Most of you leave on the 18th. So it's happening. It's really happening.
When spring classes are complete, new teams of student fellows are deployed around the world.
I went to Ghana. Specifically, I worked with Farmerline. They're a startup social enterprise.
During the equity rounds,
They work on the business-to-business side by creating a software they call Merge Data that allows big businesses to survey and push out phone calls, voice messages, and other information to farmers with phones.
So this pond mostly have some catfish and tilapia.
Their business-to-farmer side is sort of their social impact side. To help farmers by providing content services, agronomics tips, weather forecasting, and market pricing. Also letting them know tomorrow at 10 a.m. it's going to rain. Maybe do or don't plant tonight so that your seeds do get watered or don't wash away. Things like that.
Which one do they make more money off of, the cocoa or the private?
The most surprising thing was how welcomed I felt. I was not expecting that, especially because I felt more welcome there than I feel here in my home country.
I was consulting for a social enterprise in Yangon, Myanmar. The Maymay app is a maternal health app that has been distributed in Myanmar to mothers to help lower the infant mortality rate in the country. And Cocotech's main mission is to improve the health in Myanmar. So one of the main ways of doing that is through empowering women and education. So I had a great experience filming and meeting a bunch of mothers and babies and filming for the Maymay app. Being on an interdisciplinary team was really helpful because each one of us had a different expertise that we could bring and be useful for Cocotech. I definitely want to do something more important with my skills and make a change.
At the end of summer, students return to Santa Clara to prepare the deliverables requested by the social entrepreneurs.
We come back and we have a fall quarter class, completing your deliverables, which is kind of what we called the result of your research.
These are presented in writing, on video, and at live events.
Career development, vocational discernment is a really big component of this, helping us think of a vision of what we kind of want to do with ourselves, what is our vocation.
The fellowship gave me a community of people who value the same things I do.
The students expand their imagination to be able to see that how it is possible to make the world a more just, humane, and sustainable place using the entrepreneurial, innovative principles.
Fellows start as kids. They come back as young adults. You see the change over this relatively short period of time where their experience really transforms them and their sense of vocation.
When you get back, you can't even explain it because it's so beyond sort of comprehension. But it's something that's going to sit with you and live with you forever, and I think forever change you as well.
All the fellows were 21, 22, and we know what we stand for. We all want to make this world a better place.
There's so many different ways to achieve change within the world that you want to see. You can work at a grassroots communal level to produce the change that really needs to happen in a lot of areas of the world. I can't envision myself now going into any sort of career that doesn't have a very strong value on social justice or creating social value.
The work with the students as they imagine what they can do with their lives has far exceeded anything I would have hoped for. They are leaders who are going to make the world a better place, and I am so proud of every single one of them who I've had the opportunity to work with.
Young people are the future, yet our environmental practices and policies are jeopardizing the future they will inherit. The next generation is now taking on a leadership role in our society and working hard to keep the Bay Area bountiful.